Gonna take you right into the danger zone. Yeah, good one. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Blackfoot Book Club, and welcome to a film of my childhood. I feel the need for speed. For those unfamiliar with this eponymous mid-1980s blockbuster, a very brief premise. Top Gun is a flight school for the USA Navy, the best of the best, the elite. A tough training school for ACM, Air Combat Manoeuvres, or Air Combat Dogfighting. The front line of attack and defence for the USA Navy. A stereotypical 1980s film production from Jerry Bruckheimer and Don Simpson. This second film from Tony Scott remains a personal favourite from my teenage childhood. A film I still love and a film that never fails to make me smile. 26 years since its original release, it has dated a little, but to associate a film of this age as dating a little is barely a criticism. It's not perfect by any means, with the main criticism residing in a stale, sometimes lame screenplay which, when viewed now retrospectively, stunts some of the performances. A film definitely of its time, but one that still holds its own and a benchmark of the 1980s blockbuster genre. Backed by the excellent musical score from Harold Faltermeyer, the soundtrack of which is highly recommended for those of a 40 years plus vintage. Spawning numerous hits, the two most famous of which litter the film in varying guises. The film opens with Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins, and this is splintered throughout the film, as is both an instrumental version and the full version of Berlin's eponymous hit, Take My Breath Away. The soundtrack as a whole is superb, with two further world-famous songs noted below. In addition to the soundtrack is a stellar cast, the majority of whom have become household acting names since release, but none more so than Tom Cruise, who plays Maverick. His duel, and indeed duel, scenes with Val Kilmer's Iceman is the centre of the film, two ace pilots determined to outdo the other to prove they're the best of the best, one of the film's many taglines. Anthony Edwards is on star form as Goose, Maverick's co-pilot, similarly Rick Rossovich as Slider, co-pilot to Iceman. Michael Ironside plays Jester brilliantly, as does Tom Skerritt in a standout performance as the older, more experienced and looked up to leader, Viper. I could mention many more performances, but will end by confirming a small cameo for Tim Robbins as Merlin. With a typical three-act structure, we follow Maverick's life, his troubles, his duality, and the lovable core to his being. Fiercely defensive of his partner Goose and of his own abilities, this leads to the other key central strand of the film, and his developing friendship and love interest with Charlie, Kelly McGillis. Two short scenes develop this perfectly. Late for their classified date, Maverick, his motorcycle, and Berlin's instrumental Take My Breath Away leads to the sweetest scene of the film. Playful banter leads Maverick to reminisce about his parents as, sitting on the dock of the bay, plays in the apartment, Maverick, you are direct, aren't you? Charlie, this is going to be complicated. Following a high-speed chase, Berlin's instrumental version of Take My Breath Away still playing, an angry confrontation leads Charlie to confess, but I held something back. I see some real genius in your flying, Maverick, but I can't say that in there. There are many more notable scenes in this benchmark 1980s blockbuster, the highlights being Viper reassuring Maverick of his father's brilliance during a beachside walk, and the continual butting of heads between Maverick and Iceman. But the gem scenes are reserved for the laughter and smiles that will break out every time you see this gem of a film. The beach volleyball game for the utter 1980s feel and the accompanying song. The tower flybys, all buzzing the tower. Goose's young son sitting atop a piano as his dad plays Great Balls of Fire. which leads to Meg Ryan's small cameo as Carol and her fantastic "Hey Goose, you big stud, take me to bed or lose me forever," which is my personal favourite of the entire film, or indeed Maverick and Goose with their "You've Lost That Loving Feeling" bar routine. Yes, the film has aged a little and I'm probably a little biased, but it's still a wonderful film and brilliantly directed by Tony Scott. Top Gun from 1986, directed by Tony Scott. Rest in peace, Mr. Scott. And I leave you in peace and in solidarity, and I feel the need for speed. Thanks very much for watching this bananas bonkers bunkum. Thanks very much for being there. I do truly appreciate it. Peace, everyone.